Well, hello everybody. It is Leonine Shift, and at long last, it feels that spring has sprung here in Richmond, and that is a great thing. It's not that the winter was that bad; it's just the end of it was shit. Um, so anyway, over the winter, I bought a Yamaha FZ-07 2015, and I have been riding it since then, but because of inclement weather, while I've owned the bike for, you know, um, a couple months now, pretty much, I've really, only really had a couple weeks of decent riding weather. So, I'm at a point now where, you know what, I'm going to actually swing into this parking lot and we'll go over some stuff on the bike. I'm at a point now where I've put about 1,600 miles on the bike, 1,700 miles on the bike, and I feel like I can give a pretty decent review at this point. So that is what I'm going to do in this moto vlog. So let's start off there. Um, so do a little walk around and we will go over what I've done to the bike so far, and we might as well start in the front. So, GB windscreen A2118, if I remember the model number correct. It's a shorter windscreen, but you can see it doesn't look, I think it looks nice on the bike, and doesn't really ruin the naked look. I looked at some bigger windscreens that gave a little bit more wind protection. And they probably did, but I didn't like the way they look. This one, I actually feel like it sort of enhances the look of the bike and doesn't compromise clearance to the key, which is a weird spot on this bike. The key is in front of the little control panel here, but I can reach it fine. Shorted levers, um, uh, radiator guard from SC Moto, OES sliders on the frame and the axles. And this is actually an R6 throttle tube on the throttle, which basically changes the stroke from it's a lot shorter stroke. The old one, I guess you had to turn, I don't know, that feels like it's about a quarter turn to full throttle, and I guess the old one felt like it was maybe not twice as much, but more. You know what I mean? You had to really almost get your elbow up under the bar to get to go right. And then, last but not least, definitely one of my favorite mods, the Yoshimura full exhaust, which is really nice. Love the sound of it, and looks aren't bad either. And then RAM mount for the phone, and the power comes from this little cool guy that has an on-off switch and two USB power ports that are 5-volt, and then the big 12-volt cigarette charger style one. And to trim that tie down up. But anyway, that's kind of cool. And it comes up here right to the RAM mount, so I got power as I need it, which is nice. So anyway, that's what I've done to it. And so you can do a lot more. A lot of people suggest when you get the Yoshimura that you get the EJK fuel controller or the power commander. I haven't. I'm still open to getting the EJK. I definitely view that as the superior product of the two choices. It's about $250, and then you don't need to put it on a dyno machine. They've already put it on a Yoshimura FZ-07. So anyway, but that's another topic. So what do I think of the FZ-07 so far? Well, you've seen how it looks. It's a neat, light, very maneuverable sport bike. Obviously, it's naked, which is nice. Ooh, and I'm low on fuel, so I'll have to be swift here. It weighs stock 395 pounds, I want to say, and with the mods I've done to it, which I also knocked off my passenger foot pegs and the little steel supports they're on. So the bike now, after the Yoshimura full exhaust replacing the stock, knocks I want to say 10.5 pounds off, and I'd say the foot pegs and the supports form are a couple pounds each, so let's just say it's 15 pounds lighter. I think that's about right. So it's down to, 382 pounds. It's got 75 horses and 50 foot-pounds of torque, and that sort of highlights what's really cool about this motor. It's a torquey, cool little low-end heavy motor. Great around town. Handles, really, you flick this puppy around, man, and you got to turn it, and it sort of says how much do you want to turn. So I really, you hear that term flickable applied to a lot of bikes, but it'll get it in the turns, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to some quality time in the mountains this summer on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So all that said, and it's funny, the torque, I came to this bike after driving a Suzuki GS500, and I got it on a cold night in early February, and was just trying to get it. It was freezing, and I was just trying to get it off of a truck. I'd had to go out of town to get it because I saved a bunch of money buying in the dead of winter, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to ride it so much when I first got it, but getting it out the door a lot less than the MSRP, so I was willing to pay that price. So anyway, got it off the truck at this nearby parking lot that had a hill on it where I could just drive the bike off of the tailgate, and was just trying to drive. It's just a couple miles from my house, and so I'm a brand new bike. I'm just trying to take it easy, and I'm driving a couple miles, and go to just pull away at a stoplight, and bam, popped a power wheelie. So I, as far as grunt and torque, it's the cat's meow, and it likes to turn. It gets about, I would say, I know I'm getting 50 miles to the gallon. Now Yamaha says 58 mpg. I'm not disputing that he could get that. It's certainly possible. I would say with my driving style, which is a little bit more aggressive, like to get on the throttle, like to take off from stops, it's just not going to happen. I'm okay with that. Actually, one of the things I really like about this bike is this LCD screen here. It's got your, how's it going? It's got your RPM, tachometer, speedometer, gear indicator right there in the center, and then the old fuel gauge, which I'm low on. But anyway, it'll calculate your average miles per gallon too, it's got a lot of the cool stuff that you expect from a new bike in this day and age. They've really gotten to where they've got some cool stuff on them. Doesn't have like an A mode, B mode, C mode like you see on some of the bikes these days. And I see why. It's it's the MSRP on it $69.90, so they're not putting a lot of extra frills on it. There are a couple of really cool things I like about it, like the kill switch here. So like every bike I've ever ridden, you've got a kill switch, and it's kill and then on. And then usually, every time one I've seen, right below, there's a little button that you push to start the engine. Well, this one, you actually just pull this one switch, and you just pull it down to do your start, which I think is kind of cool. So anyway, it is not a great highway bike. So if you're looking for a bike to ride, well, all right. It's fine on the highway in bursts. Like I take mine on the highway for, I don't know, a 15 or 20-minute ride to go like downtown or over across the river or whatever. No problem, great. It's totally fine for that. After about a half an hour or 40 minutes, getting hammered by the wind if you're sustaining your speed at over 80 miles per hour, it gets to be a bit much. Now, if you drive on the interstate at 65 miles an hour, you're not going to have a problem. Now, I don't think this light is going to change for me, so I'm not going to go this way. Actually, I'm going to go this way. I'm just going to exercise the new law they have in Virginia that after you've waited for over a minute, you can go. So, anyway, it does great in short bursts on the interstate, but like I said, over 70, the wind really starts to come over this and hit me. I'm 6'2", and tends to hit me right, in the face and chest, and it's fine for a little while, but it just starts to wear on you. Although I'll say this, and I heard people that ride naked sport bikes say that really bothers you for a while, but the longer you ride it, the less it bothers you. And I think I see why, because I've learned to become a little looser, I think, up front, so the wind just sort of washes over me rather than trying to stay, fight through it. But even still, look, the bike's not designed for long cruises on the interstate. It's just that simple. So that. If it's going to be your only bike, and that's what you're getting it for, is to ride on the interstate for 3 hours at a time, keep looking. I wouldn't do it. Another thing that's not so great, it's got a 3.7 gallon tank, and so even though it gets good fuel mileage, its range is less than 200 miles. So that's not so stellar. Now, I'll say this, because of the nature of the bike, it's not made for long, straight cruises on the highway or really anywhere. And I don't know how you feel, but like after 100 miles on a bike, regardless, I'm ready to get off. And not even 100 miles sometimes. I'm ready to get off after an hour or so, maybe 90 minutes. I'm ready to take a walk around and stretch my legs out and, drink a bottle of water or whatever. So I don't necessarily see the small gas tank as a big problem, but it is what it is. Other than that, I haven't really found any major cons. I know a lot of owners of FCs that they think the suspension's not all that great. And I don't think it's great, but I don't see it as a problem. The bike comes with a monoshock that's got a preload adjustment on it, and when I got it, I think it was set at 3. So, because I set the sag on my last bike, what I did was I jacked it to, I want to say 5, and then adjusted it one at a time until I got to where I felt like it was right, and the sag was like 24 millimeters, and ended up leaving it at, I think, 8, and it feels really good at 8. you know, not too squishy, and it's feel the bumps, but they don't knock your teeth out, and there's no excessive rebounding like after you hit a bump. It used to sort of bounce, and you'd have that boing boing for a minute. Don't really have that anymore. So the front suspension is what it is. It doesn't dive too bad. I haven't had it bottom out. I just got on the brakes just then, and you know, it's fine. You know, for me, I weigh about 200 pounds. So I would say this: if I weighed much more, I could see how I'd want to do something with it. And there's a lot of people making a good living selling aftermarket suspension upgrades. So you know, cool. If you know, if you're looking for a racetrack type suspension, then this is, and you're getting this bike, plan on dropping probably $1,000. Well, no, more than that. Probably $1,000 in the front and $700 in the rear. So that's an area of the bike where it could be better. And again, though, it's a bike that's under 7,000 MSRP, so there's not a lot of bells and whistles on it. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's my first new bike, so I don't have a great frame of reference for it, but it's been a lot of fun to ride, and you know, I'm just getting started and enjoying every minute of it so far. So anyway, I guess that's about all I have to say about that. If you got any questions, if you're looking to get an FC, please feel free to you know, let me know what you think, or let me know what, if you've got a question. Try to respond in the comment section. And if you're looking at an FZ-09, I actually did quite a bit of research into those before I ended up buying this one. So anyway, happy to answer any questions, have a conversation about it. So yeah, I guess that's just about it. So have a great day, enjoy the ride, and shift with pride. See you around. Now it doesn't look too good. I guess that looks like water. I hope it's not oil. Well, I'm not driving through it either way. Oh, by the way, that up there on the right there is Honda House of Richmond. They didn't get to sell me this bike, even though they have a Yamaha dealership. You can see it right next to it, see the sprockets in Yamaha. Because they didn't want to work on their price. I guess they were selling too many bikes this winter. So I ended up going to Charlottesville.